Recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to follow up on that a little bit, Mr. Burns, if you will. You say you've added 19,000 users in a viewer. I mean, that really isn't interoperability where everybody can access the data that needs to access the data, and doctors can and nurses can input the data. I mean, that's just, okay, I'm able to look at it, right?
With JLB, it is a viewer, so you're able to look at the data. The one thing that we did add through that is that we have where data is mapped. We can then demonstrate and show the mapping of the data in addition to the original data. So
that isn't where I wanted to go, but I wanted to follow up on that question. Ms. Counsel, the Secretary of the VA, Mr. McDonald, was recently in South Texas and said, you know, one of the reasons there was such a slow pay system is some of the legacy systems are still operating in the COBOL programming language. I mean, 1960s technology. You know, it just seems like there's not a focus there. You spoke a little bit about you know, making the business case for what products in IT that you work on. Mm-hmm. You know, can you tell me a little bit what the business case is? To me, the number one focus should not be the business case, but should be providing quality service to veterans. I mean, I could make a business case for making veterans wait months for service so we don't have to make more doctors. I mean, what constitutes business case?
It really gets to the point that was raised earlier. How do we measure success? How do we know we're actually accomplishing what we said we would accomplish? And how do we know we're spending our time and monies on the right thing to enable help for the veteran? So that's what we mean by business case.
All right, so let's look at what's happening now. There was just a report out today that in San Antonio, just north of the district I represent, that we have the highest wait times since May. We're up to 12,000 veterans waiting over 30 days to get care. That's the worst in the entire VA. I mean, I thought we were trying to address these wait times. Shouldn't that be, the wait times be one of the top priorities of getting veterans the care that they need in a timely fashion?
It certainly should, sir. And at the end of the day, that's what the MASS project is set to schedule, so we can really handle the capacity that we have. It is our responsibility to ensure that we change the veterans' experience at VA. And my intent as leading the IT organization is to modernize this organization and get us to make the decisions that we need to make to focus on the right things.
We've looked at, we started talking about this in Congress in 2008, 2009. You look at 2008, 2009, Uber didn't exist. They've come up with a complete data infrastructure of the world's largest taxi service without a single driver that can be wherever in most cities can pick you up in a matter of minutes. Square Technologies has come online where you can plug something into your iPad and do credit card. Pinterest wasn't in existence in 2007. I mean, the technology can be done in a timely fashion. Is there a culture problem? What is the problem within the VA that makes IT such a struggle?
Well, I think part of the issue is many of the examples you gave were independents, and they're not trying to enable an enterprise. They're not trying to enable HR and finance and all the other things that come with it. But I also say part of it has been, frankly, making some hard decisions and holding people accountable to achieve things we said we will do, and making sure we have focus. We cannot do everything. We got to do the right things. So when we start a program, we have to complete a program. We need to be relentless in our execution, and we have to focus. And the bottom line is the team has not done that. We will do that, and that's part of our current new strategy.
And one of the things Mr. Miller said, he doesn't want to deploy a bad app to turn people off. But part of any IT system, and I remember this back in the 80s and 90s when I was a computer consultant. You had to get buy-in from your folks that this was going to make their jobs easier and that it was going to be good for them. How can it sounds like that's one of the struggles you're talking about. I mean, this is the 21st century. It's in almost every case, especially in the private sector, you see the implementation of IT really greatly improve efficiency. Now, some people may argue they have to work harder with fewer people with it, but the level of customer service that people have come to expect as a result of the technology revolution is higher. How can the folks within the VA not get that?
You are 100% correct. At the end of the day, our opportunity is to bring the system forward and do it in a way that's going to change the environment for the veteran. And up to this point, we have not had core portfolios for our various business groups. We will be putting in, as part of this strategy, new account managers that actually work within the business with customer relationship people within the business to create portfolio and a ranked stack against the things that need to get done to change this perspective. And if you don't have the business perspective working in conjunction with IT, you don't end up with that kind of system that's going to make a difference. And so that's where we're focusing.
Well, I see my time has expired. I would like to take 1 second and urge you to maybe take some lessons from the private sector and develop an entrepreneurial spirit within the VA and the IT department to get her done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Custer, New Hampshire.
Thank you very much. My comments and question are focused on the VA. Ms. Counsel and Mr. Burns, Ms. Counsel just talked about hard decisions